Hi, I'm Brandy and welcome to my channel Sewing Back. So last week I made a recipe I kind of toyed around with, kind of came up with for a, I call it Brandy's Oatmeal Bake. This one though, it is gluten-free. I should have put that, sorry. Brandy's gluten-free oatmeal bake. But you could totally use it with normal oats if you do not have a gluten sensitivity or allergy. I'm going to modify this one because I really wanted to try to make this oatmeal bake. But last time what I used was some of my homemade applesauce I had canned up. On my recipe I even put you could use apple butter. This was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. So today I'm going to make a new one because I really want to try to make it with my strawberry jam. I picked these strawberries. I made the jam. This is a low sugar jam, and I'm going to replace my applesauce with the, and I used, because I did not use sugar in my applesauce that I did last fall, so I did have half a cup of coconut sugar in my recipe. So for this recipe, I'm not going to add any sugar because this has this is a low sugar jam, so it did have some sugar in it, and I believe it's going to give enough sweetness that I do not need to add that coconut sugar. So we're going to see how that goes. So what I have is I have my own chickens, so I have lots of eggs, and this is why I like this recipe, because it has it uses 10 eggs. Now I've got a dozen here, but I need to use these up because I have more in my basket, and I actually have a couple more dozens and some cartons from the last couple weeks. So the first thing I need to do is I need to come over to my oven. I figured I had my skillet in here. I need to take my skillet out, close up the oven, and we're going to preheat it to 350. And then I have all my supplies except for, I think I still have to get my butter that you put on top. So what you're going to take is, I use the Bob's Red Mill. These are gluten-free, quick cooking oats, but you could also use rolled oats. I don't think it matters. Oh, I know what else I forgot. So you gotta have milk. I'm actually using, because I need to use this up, this is what I used in my other one, is the toasted coconut almond milk. And so I will definitely be using that, and I will find my butter in a moment, because you don't need it to the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 4 cups of your oatmeal, whatever you choose. I'm using gluten-free Bob's Red Mill, and I have never tested it. It's with non-gluten-free oatmeal. I don't know why there would be a difference, but just FYI. So you're going to take that. You're going to take 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I have cinnamon here. You're going to take 1 teaspoon of salt. I have real salt in here. And I am not going to be putting the dried cranberries that I did, but I am going to keep my nuts and seeds. So I will be using 1/3 of a cup of the almonds. You could use any nut. I have a nut allergy. Almonds are the only nut I can eat. So I will be doing some more almonds in mine, but if you can have walnuts or pecans or anything like that, go for it. And I have raw pumpkin seeds that I'll also be putting in, and I'll mix all those dry ingredients together and incorporate them. And then I will put together my 10 fresh eggs, my 2 cups of the coconut milk, my jar of jam, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, And then I don't have fresh picked yet. I went to Aldi's and I got organic strawberries and some organic blueberries. And so I'm going to clean these. I'm going to cut these up and kind of try to keep them in about the same bite-sized pieces as the blueberries to put in. Incorporate all of this, and then you're going to dice up about 1/4 cup of butter and put that on top, and then you're going to bake it. In my oven, it takes me about 50 minutes to bake, but yours may be a little different. So you're kind of looking for it to be brown on top and kind of firm to the touch. But be careful because it is hot. You don't want to burn yourself. So let's get this going. So you can see I've got all my dry ingredients incorporated in my dish. So this was 4 cups of the gluten-free rolled oats. It was a teaspoon of salt. It was 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and then I did maybe a little smidgen more than 1/3 cup of almonds and 1/3 cup of the raw pumpkin seeds. And so now I'm gonna, in another bowl, I'm gonna mix together my wet ingredients. And just a helpful tip, when you're using any eggs, but especially when you're using fresh eggs, crack them in a separate bowl so that if you get a bad egg, these are pretty fresh, so I don't think I'll get a bad egg, but there's nothing worse than cracking a lot of eggs and then you get a bad egg and it ruins all of them. So even though I have an abundance of eggs, I sure don't want to waste them that way. And I believe that's like proper culinary anyway. You're supposed to crack in another bowl. So, because you can always get a bad egg. It just happens. So let me get my wet ingredients together. I'll show you what that looks like and then we'll incorporate them. Okay, I have added in 10 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of, I did the toasted coconut milk. You could do regular milk if that's what your thing. I needed to use this up because it's fixing to go out of date. So I have that in here. I need to add in my strawberry jam. Remember, this was a low sugar that I did myself. I washed and then cut up my strawberries. I did kind of like a bite-sized piece similar to the blueberry. It's a little bit bigger, but when you're getting a bite, I thought that would be the right one. And if you're using those 10 eggs, that means you're going to have eggshells. And if you have chickens, you can dry these out. You can feed these back to your chickens, which gives them a good source of calcium to lay more eggs. If you do not have chickens, you can dry these out, crush them up, and you can put them in your garden or in your compost bed. If that's either way, it'll work. And when you're cutting up your strawberries, you have strawberry tops. These are fabulous for chickens. If you have chickens, I would imagine you have bunnies. All of them would like it. So don't let anything go to waste. Use all the things you can. So now I'm going to add in my strawberry jam, and then I'm going to incorporate it with my dry ingredients. And the last thing I'll fold in will be the berries, and then I'll put it in the oven. I'll show it to you before I put it in the oven. I just wanted to show you really quick the consistency of my jam. So as you can see, this is why I thought it would be really good to replace the applesauce from my original recipe with this, because it's about that same consistency. So if you didn't have homemade jam, I think you could probably buy like the all fruit in the grocery store. This is about 16 ounces in this jar, and so you would want to, I don't know what the sizing, I would get whatever I guess is closest to it. If it wasn't a full 16, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but something close to that. I don't think 8 ounces would be enough. So now I'm going to incorporate it. Okay, I am incorporating the strawberry jam So this is all my wet ingredients, and now get all that loveliness out of there. Now we're gonna, so now we're gonna pour this into the oatmeal. I'll get all that out in just a second. So I'm just gonna kind of mix these together, the dry and the wet. And normally, you know, when I'm baking things, I love to add oat fiber to, like when I make my muffins. If you're not familiar with oat fiber, I became aware of it when a friend of mine shared Trim Healthy Mama, some Trim Healthy Mama recipes, and so I have a couple of their cookbooks, and they incorporate that so that they can get the fiber up in a lot of their dishes that they use. And it is, I mean, I've put it in so many different things. I think I've even, yes, I have. I've even put it in like meatloaf and just things you wouldn't necessarily think of, which kind of goes along with some of their principles that they try to do. They love to incorporate like okra, because okra is very high in fiber, so they like you to, you know, pulverize it in your Vitamix and put it in with a sauce, and no one knows it's there, but you get the benefits of the fiber. Now in this, because it has so much oatmeal in it, oatmeal, you know, is going to have that fiber in it, I did not add any to this because this is so thick and high fiber already. So I didn't want to add too much. So I didn't use it on this one. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape my bowl. I can't do that and hold the camera, so I'm going to scrape the bowl, make sure I get all the goodness out of there, and then we'll mix in our berries, and then we'll get it in the oven. All right, I got the bowl scraped. I've got everything incorporated well. So now I'm going to add my strawberries. Now, in my original one, I did 2/3 a cup of dried apple soaked cranberries. This one I'm putting in the berries, and I know that's more, this is more than 2/3 cup, but I don't care. It's my recipe. So I'm just kind of, and I did wash all these. And these are all, like I said, these were not mine grown. I do have a few blueberries coming in, but not this many. It's like a little snack. And that's kind of how our strawberries were this year, because these were our first year. And so I'm just happy we got any, that we get a few here and there. But these berries came from Aldi's. They're organic. They actually weren't bad priced. I actually think that looks good. And so, you know what? I'm just going to add all of it. I took the time to cut it, so I'm going to put it in there. So I'm thinking I probably just added a cup and a half, maybe 2 cups, probably 2 cups of berries. I bet it was. I bet it was probably about 2 cups of berries. Eyeballing it. Okay. So the last thing you do is you're going to take some, you're going to take about 1/4 cup of butter, and you're going to dice it, put little pieces all over the top, and then you're going to put it in the oven. So let me get my butter, because I still haven't got it out of the refrigerator. It's a good thing I'm looking at my recipe, or I totally would have forgot it. So I got my butter out. I wanted to share this really quick. We went, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago, we went up towards Lula, Georgia, which is eastern Georgia, up towards Gainesville we went towards the Gainesville, Lula area to Jane Moore Farms, and they have like a U-pick. They have several different things for U-pick. They were doing, I believe they were doing strawberries when we went, but I had just went strawberry picking at LCCL. So we didn't do that, and I didn't even buy any strawberries from there. But they do, you pick berries, they do peaches. Just as the season goes, they have different ones. I think they had, I can't remember if they had, I think they had some kind of pumpkin or something in the fall. I can't remember. But anyway, if you're looking for, I know gas is expensive, but if you're looking for a fun day trip to go to a farm where you can get Georgia-grown, farm fresh fruits, vegetables. They had fresh Vidalia onions, you could get different size bags. They had one of the things I got, which is in my dehydrator. I got some October beans. And I got them not so we could eat them. I got them because they were older, so I could seed save. These are October beans. Well, I think they're about a 45 to 55 day bean. They're a half runner. They are delicious. And let's see the color. They're beautiful. These will, if you plant them towards the end of summer, these do really well, and you harvest them before the frost in October. And these are an heirloom seed. These, I read a book well, I listened to it, was on Audible, but it was talking about a lot of these different ones. There's some who claim that these are very similar to some of the Cherokee beans. You know, we're up in that area, so maybe so. I can't say for sure. But I did grow these last year. The deer got in. We did get a couple, I want to say we got 2 pickings. And the beans that we had drying to seed save, the deer got in and into our garden and pretty much decimated it. Oh no! So I was thrilled that I found these there. I shucked them and I have dried them. So I am seed saving those to put out in my garden. I probably will grow those in August is kind of my plan. But the other thing that they had at J. Moore is they had local farms that, matter of fact, they carried a couple of different farms. They had meats. I didn't see any chickens, but they had pasture-raised pork, grass-fed beef, bacon, fatback. I'm trying to think of what else they had. They definitely had fresh eggs, milk. I don't remember if they had cheese. Yeah, I think they did have some cheese. But I don't remember. They didn't have any chicken. And I think on the beef, they might have had pot roast or something. I can't remember. I know they had like the ground beef because we bought some of the ground beef. It was well priced. Looked beautiful. We cooked it. I actually made burgers out of it. And it was delicious. And I think it was $6.99 a pound. So for grass-fed finished beef, that was pretty good. I bought some of their pork. I bought some of the mild and the hot sausage. We had some of the mild this week when we did breakfast for dinner, and it was really good, really tasty. But they had, and the bacon. Oh yes, the bacon was delicious too, and it was really reasonable. Because I got news for you: in the grocery store, bacon's not real reasonable right now. So, because I think it was $5.99 for a pack of bacon, and it was just phenomenal. As a matter of fact, I have another one in my freezer. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. I got this out to show you because in the grocery store, and even at like my like holistic grocer kind of thing, you can get Amish butter rolls, but they're always salted. I have never found them locally for me unsalted, but they had them here at J. Moore Farms. They had it unsalted, and so I bought this one, and because it's really nice to have, when you're doing baking and things, it's really nice to have unsalted butter, and I do really like the Amish style butter rolls versus just whatever you can get. I think it's really tasty. So they actually had this one there, and I picked it up, and I think this was like $2.99. I thought their prices were really good. I got a lot of stuff. I literally saw it when I went up there and we were checking out, and we had a grocery buggy and it was full. We took coolers and stuff to bring all of our stuff back. But I brought it, I got up there to check out, because most people are going up there, they're either berry picking or maybe they're picking up a couple things. But I bought groceries there. That's what I spent my grocery money on. And so they were like, well, you were serious. I'm thinking, well, with gas what it is to go up there. But it was a great market, lots to choose from, lots of really neat varieties that you don't always see when you go to these kind of stands or little markets or whatever. So I really appreciate that. Matter of fact, we also bought some plants. We actually got some blueberry plants, and we got a couple of specialty muscadine plants up there, very reasonably priced. So a lot of times people don't think about that when you're looking to buy things, and especially things like blueberries or raspberries or muscadines or grapes or anything like that. It can be pretty expensive if you go to your local nurseries or even your big box stores. And even if you do it through the nurseries online, which we did buy several of ours. We got some stuff from Ison's, which is down in South Georgia, which we have not been there personally, but highly recommend their plants. They're very high quality, and they were pretty reasonable. But the deals that we got at J Moore on our plants were just phenomenal, and so we were really excited about that. So anyway, I rambled a little, I'm sorry. Just recommending. So if you're not in Georgia or you're somewhere else, I highly recommend do some research about local farms in your area, and then go. If they have it so that you can go to the public, go do that, or even call them up and ask them, because you never know, you may find someone where you can get, maybe you can get an eighth of a cow or a fourth of a cow or Okay, so my timer went off, so we're going to check on our oatmeal bake. And that looks pretty darn good. Alright, I'm gonna put the phone down and get it out, and then I'll give you a better shot. So it's still bubbling. I just got it out. Odie, be quiet. And you can see the melted butter on top. You can see all the beautiful berries in it. And you're supposed to let it soak for probably about 10-15 minutes, and then you can slice it. You can, of course, eat some right now, and then you can slice it up and put it up in, I do like the little Pyrex glass dishes, and you can have it portioned out so that you can have it for other meals throughout your week. Okay, I've let it cool for about 15 minutes, and now I'm gonna cut a piece. And I know one thing I forgot to do was I forgot to spray the pan with some coconut oil. So I don't know if it's gonna stick. We'll see. Sorry, it's hard to hold the phone. So you can see, it looks good. It's nice and moist, and actually it came out of the pan pretty good. So that's good. Now I'm gonna taste it just like it is and tell you what I think. I will tell you with the other one, what I like to do with it was to put some goat cheese on it. It was really good with that. So hold on, let me turn it around. Alright, so I'm going to taste it. It's got some, it's hot. It's still very hot. So this would be the oatmeal bake berry version. Very good. Oh, so it's perfect. It's a perfect sweetness for me. It's not super sweet. because I didn't add any sugar because the jam had been slightly sweetened. Wow, that's really good. It's very moist, which so is the original, and I think that was from the applesauce. And so the strawberries really did act like that. And I love the nuts and the seeds in it. It adds a really nice crunch. That's delicious. And it would be good with goat cheese. Or by itself. So it's a win. It's a win. Hope you'll try it. I'll put the recipe. I'll type this one up how I did it, and I'll put it down below if you're interested in it. If you found value in this recipe, or you think somebody you know might like it, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you. Until next time.